Welcome everyone to 7 Minutes or Less, talking about the shows you love and want to get into. Today we will be talking about Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3. And unfortunately, this is the final entry in the Evil Dead series. So if you're unfamiliar with my series of reviews, I have reviewed the first 3 films in my Universe Reviews section. You are more than welcome to check that out. After that, I review the first 2 seasons in 7 minutes or less fashion. Season 1 is spoiler-free, along with 2, but I did spoil the ending of Season 1 in my Season 2 review, just to give you context. With this Season 3 review, this will be no different. I will be spoiling the end of Season 2. So if you want to get into Season 2 real quick, go for it, and come back here. I won't be spoiling the events of Season 3 just yet, so you can at least know what this ending of the show is like. So, at the end of Season 2, Pablo dies trying to eradicate Ball, Ruby's lover. Cut in half and duct taped together, an emotional Ash gets the bright idea, through a hallucination from Pablo, trust me, it's a long story told quicker than I can say it, that Ash could go back in time and rewrite history. This means destroy the book before Ash's younger self could ever find it. This proves a huge set of problems, especially that of the professor who found the book in the first place, the man who was alluded to in the first 2 films. Gore galore blasts on the screen faster than you can say Ashley J. Williams, and in the long run, Ash does destroy the cabin in the woods, the Necronomicon is lost for about a day at least, and Ash is a hero of his hometown. Things wrap up pretty nicely, except for a younger version of Ruby survives because she did get involved in this whole thing, and the older Ruby dies, marking the return of Ruby as a villain in Season 3 to do much more devious things. So, in this third and final season, the biggest question is, how is it? Does it wrap up things nicely? Does it get wilder and crazier and grotesque all at the same time while you're trying to hide watching the show from your parents because you know they would have objections, you deceitful youngin' you? Well, yes and no. This show is far from perfect, as it does leave plot holes here and there that either you aren't paying attention to or realize they're never going to come back to. But the problem isn't within those aspects of the story. It's mostly upon building the mythology of Evil Dead, certain storylines come up out of nowhere and say, hey, I'm a thing now, and you're just sitting there wondering, when did this happen? But you go along with it, and to the show's credit, it works. One element I speak of is Ash has a daughter now. So a lot becomes about Ash's seed, his daughter, who doesn't even like him and who gets a raw taste, literally, of Ash's lifestyle. What makes this abrupt storyline work is Ash's maturity throughout this season, actually. He has to step up to the plate after some big-time events change things up dramatically in all of its gore-like fashion. Ash has to go from single womanizer to deadbeat dad in 0 to 60 seconds. And this comes as a challenge with Ruby already integrated within the daughter's life. Now, while that's pretty much all I want to comment on in terms of the plot, there are a few things I gotta comment on elsewhere. I gotta say, Season 3 felt different to me. Like, the first 2 seasons were just in-your-face gore spectacles with hammy stories and a lot of character development that just goes in every which way and had a lot of fun telling it. Season 3 takes a moment in its first act and slows down. Like, seriously, in my pea-picking brain, I swear I saw a few moments of directing change. We had moments of camera work that is different from the first 2 seasons, teasing an appearance of someone, less gore, more than its usual rate at least, and moments where we see characters thinking for a moment. I mean, it could be just me, and this show is no shortage of gore from the moment 1 to the moment of the last, but I could be just crazy. Groovy. But as far as the characters goes besides Ash, Ruby has a lot more sinister in this, with motives that bring her to do some crazy things against each character involved. Pablo finally gets his story arc coming full circle, as he has an integral part to play at the situations. But the shout out really goes to Kelly, who kinda uncovers a bit more to the mythology to this entire show, giving us insight that Ash isn't the only person battling evil. Kelly doesn't do much in the first act of this, but she comes through not just in story but in performance, and it was a side I've been wanting to see since Season 1. Some characters that are introduced are definitely short-lived, believing that they were going to be this big thing side of season 3. But when they are gone, you realize how underused they were until they end up surprisingly coming back later on in the season. So they weren't totally underdeveloped. But this season does end on a high note, making us anticipate a 4th season. But it'll never come, which is bittersweet. The way this show ends does leave you wanting more because it's just about to get unique and within its own self, actually. And the mythology is going to get bigger and, well, crap, it's no longer. So all I'll say is season 3 is probably the best out of the entire trilogy of seasons. It's fun, stupid, weird, gross, and over the top, and by God does it embrace that fact. And for that, I'm gonna give season 3 of Ash vs. Evil Dead an A. Do check out this show if you ever get the chance. It really does having a good time being what it is, and I think you would have a good time too. Now, that brings me into the few announcements that I have not alluded to at all, so I want to say I am going to be moving on to another set of films, not shows, that I think would be awesome to review, and that is Mission Impossible. The road to a Mission Impossible is coming your way, guys, and I hope you stay tuned. I'm going to do some collabs. I hope it all works out, but all in all, time will tell. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in watching Ash vs. Evil Dead and found my review interesting enough or informative enough, give it a like, maybe a share, and if you would be so gracious to give me a sub, that would make all the difference. If you're new to my channel, I do TV shows in 7 minutes or less, a trailer to film analysis for new releases, and a spin-off of Love Like Hate to films I didn't see in the theater. All coming down to universe reviews that take movies and or TV shows that set up a universe. Your support means everything to me, and just by that alone, I'll get you more videos in the future.